The seed of motherhood was planted in my heart the day I had to discharge one of my teenage clients to a shelter because there was nowhere else for her to go. I thought, if only I could just take her home. I soon quit my job to become a full-time foster parent, working primarily with teenage girls nobody else would take. We received our first placement just after my 25th birthday. She was 15. When I went to her school to enroll her, I had the most difficult time convincing the school administrator that I was not the student. My dark purple hair probably didn't help my case. Okay, honey, take this to your mother for a signature. You seem to be confused. I'm her foster mom? Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. Take this to your foster mom for a signature. I learned to deal with the doubters who questioned my ability to be a mother to girls who I was too young to ever have given birth to. The fact was that I acted the role of the responsible mother, and the girls in my home had no difficulty embodying the role of rebellious teenage daughters. My foster daughters called me Momish, and that was probably an apt description. I cared for my foster kids, loved them even. I cried for them, spent late nights in hospitals with them, and even let one or two learn to drive in my car. But none of them were ours for keeps, and I couldn't give them all of my heart. We decided it would be too difficult to continue taking teenagers while I went back to school. But we'd been told that there was an unusually large number of babies in the system right then, and that infant placements were typically short-term. Family members usually stepped up to take them. So we set up a nursery and waited. 9 months later, yes, 9, we received a call asking if we could take a healthy 1-year-old girl that evening. I said yes right away without asking any more questions. I arranged for her to be dropped off, and when I arrived home, my husband was holding a tiny little bundle. So tiny. That, I thought, has got to be the smallest 1-year-old I've ever seen in my life. I was so trusting and naive. It turns out that instead of a healthy 1-year-old girl, they had sent us a very sick little 1-month-old. When I first took Janie in my arms, she didn't look at me. Her blue eyes stared into the distance, looking ancient and so very sad. It was not love at first sight, and frankly, I was relieved. I wanted to nurture her, but I was determined not to lose my heart to her. For all we knew, she could be sent to some family member tomorrow. I told myself I was only her caretaker. She was so sick those first couple of weeks that I dared not sleep until my husband got up in the morning. I was that afraid she would die in the night. She would vomit until her mouth was full of fluids, and unless I picked her up to clear her airways, she would choke until her lips turned blue. Each diaper change brought her searing pain as it forced me to touch the rash that covered her, a consequence of previous neglect. She would scream until her voice became as raw as her skin. Her skin healed, but it took months for her to forget the pain and learn to enjoy fresh diapers and tummy kisses. She began to keep down more and more of her food, to gain weight, to make eye contact, and to smile. Her parents, in and out of jail, visited her sporadically. In our state, parents have countless chances to regain custody of their children, and I kept telling myself that this is how it should be. If she could be with family, that would be better, right? But what is family? Her parents were taking so long between visits that they didn't even know her. Meanwhile, I was there every day and trying so hard not to fall in love. Then, on a day like any other, I walked into her daycare, and when she saw me, she broke into the most earth-shatteringly beautiful grin you have ever seen in your life. And that was it. The seed of motherhood broke free to bask in the light of her love, and there would be no turning back for me. And if that meant a broken heart for me later on, then so be it. We've since completed an adoption home study in the hope that she might become legally ours. Despite their continued run-ins with the law, her parents' rights have not yet been terminated. I know of one family like ours who lived in limbo for 3 years before their child was returned to biological parents it didn't even recognize. This could happen to us, and this thought haunts me. Yet, even though I don't know what the future brings, I know this. Janie deserves nothing less than all of the love my heart has to give. And I will not withhold any of it from her for my own sake. I'm hers for keeps, and she made me a mom.